Hey guys, Jalen here from TBIInfinitey, bringing you guys another Buddyfight deck profile post Buddy Rave. This time we have Darkheroes. Darkheroes have always been a really fun deck for me. They got really nice boost in Buddy Rave. I really do like most of the cards. I will get into reasons why I do not like the Guilty Wave Impact Monster. Anyway, this I still like Darkheroes a whole lot, and anyway, I'm just gonna share my deck list with you guys. Don't think of it as anything special. It's just what I kind of like just threw together. Well, not threw together. It's just like this is a build I thought about a long time, like when we got all the reveals and all that junk. Anyway, we have the Scar. The Scar is just a 4/3/4 size 1 with the ability at the end of the battle of this card, destroy this card. So attack, dead. If you don't attack with it and someone attacks it, it dies. It simple as that. For you cannot. By the way, in all the Darkheroes, and at the end of this battle, like auto ability, you cannot use I'm finished with you or any kind of response to these abilities because they take up your counter timing for that. So don't try to do it at that exact instant because you can't. Anyway, just 3 crit that will most likely cost your opponent some kind of null, or like they're like bait out null, or they're gonna use some kind of costly counter move to get rid of it. Like Dragonic Thunder, Death Grips, Pillar Fires, anything like that. So it's really annoying for your opponent to deal with this 3 crit monster of a size 1. Only size 0 and 4 copies of it. We have Noble of Darkness, Kill Knight. When this has the ability, like basically if it's discarded, I can either gain a gauge or take my opponent's gauge. Or at the end of this card's battle, at the end of this card's battle, if I have a Dark Hero item equipped, then it goes to my hand. So it's basically a boomerang that has nice benefits for Darkheroes because of things like Schwarz and Schwarz Kugel, Schwarz SD, Weiss, discarding it with damage control. It's just really nice ability that can just really amp my resources or reduce my opponents. 3 copies of Darkness Fist Gwen, aka Final Get to Potential. If you have another Dark Hero item, Dark Hero period on your field, this card can attack your opponent directly, even if there's a monster in the center, aka Shadow Dive. When this card deals damage to your opponent, return this card to your hand. So it has, unlike most Dark Heroes, at the end of the battle, instead of returning to the hand, this card has to deal the damage. So if someone blocks it, then Gwen stays on the field. So it can be quite problematic for things like Makuro's ability or using This Is My Fight or something like that. So Gwen could get in the way, but we have precautions for when that could happen. Next up, we have 3 copies. I would want to play 4, but we have 3 copies of Schwarz SD. Schwarz SD is a size 1, 3/2/1 with the at the end of the battle, it turns to my hand, and when it enters the field, I can discard Dark Hero and gain 2 gauge. It's really nice. It's really great for Dark Heroes. I would want, like I said, I would want to run 4 because this build, on this particular new build, I do go through gauge a little bit, so I do want to play 4. I will not play Hyper Energy because I think Hyper Energy is a goddamn waste in this goddamn deck. Because if you're running a non-Dark Hero, it slows down your engine so much and can make your fucking deck just really annoying and choppy, and it just feels wrong. Like, reason I don't play Moggraver, also because I just don't like that card. I don't think it's as good as everyone fucking says it is. And anyway, not gonna get into all that detail. Then 4 copies of the Buddy, so not going to get into detail there, since I already talked about them. Onto the size 2s. We have 2 copies of Shadow Hero Schwarz. Camera. Pay gauge and discard a Dark Hero from my hand. Dumb Strike, when this card enters the field, I destroy opponent's monster, and at the end of the battle, it returns to my hand. 7/2/4, so 4K defense, making it really hard for your opponent to just try and use something like Crossbow, because they can't. They will have to use Death Grip, Pillar of Fire, things like that. in order to counter move this card. If they don't, it's going to keep returning to my hand, and I can continuously do this to their monsters. Especially with the size 3 deck, they really don't like that, so this card can be quite annoying for your opponent. It's like, right now, it's a little worse than the Kugel, of course, but Kugel's a little more costly, and it can only be called during the final phase first, so it's not as easy as you think to use. Instead of this, because I still like this card. It's really, really good. It's just great for opening up centers. It's just nice, decent 2-crit. Just a good card. Always a good card. Next up, we have Inverted Cranium, Reverse Skull. Reverse Skull is a size 2, 5/2/2 with the with 3 abilities. If you have your a Darkero item equipped, then the size is reduced by 1, so it becomes a size 1 if you have an item equipped. When this card enters the field, you may pay a gauge and discard any card from your hand. Thank God it doesn't say Darkero. And if you do get for the turn, a Darkero item on your field gets plus 2,000 power in the critical, so it can make Makuro a 7/3/5 for the turn, and then if Makuro restands, it goes to 4 crit, and if you do give it to something like Sneak Judgment becomes 6/3. So really, really good. So this and at the end of the battle, it returns to your hand. So just a recurable crit boosting, power boosting, size 1 for Darkheroes. It's just amazing. I just really like this card. I don't know what else to say about it. And the last size 2s and the last monster of the deck, we have 4 copies of Knife Omni Brave Lord Makuro. Makuro is a 5/2/5 Omni Lord. Darkero with the transform cost to pay 1 gauge, and the ability at the end of the battle of this card, if you do not have any monsters on the field, keep in mind, if you have not transformed this card, he's on the field, he is a monster, so you cannot restand him unless you are transformed, because he will be an item. Anyway, if you have him equipped, basically, if you have no monsters, pay a gauge, restand him, and give him an extra crit, and you can only use the ability once per turn. Makuro is absolutely great. I think this card is just the perfect card for Darkheroes, combining defense with 5k. The 5k defense with really great offense. It's just insanely good. I just love this card. I think most Darkero players would, of course, love this card. Onto the spells. We have 2 copies of Evil Aesthetics. Pay a gauge on life and either choose one of 2 abilities. Either get a Darkero item to your hand from your drop zone, or get 2 Darkeros of the same size from your drop zone to your hand. You can add Makuro and another size 2. So you basically you kind of get around that clause where you can just get an item and a monster. You can get Sneak Judgment back. You can get 2 Scar. Like, you already probably know what I can do with this. I can add 2 Gwens and double Shadow Dive with both of them, or triple Shadow Dive if I have a Sneak Judgment. It's just lots of fun things, getting stuff back from the drop zone. Then we have 2 copies of But He Is the Lowest Rank. You can only cast this card if you have a size 1 or less Darkero in your field. Search your deck for a Darkero monster or item, and add it to your hand. But He Is the Lowest Rank can only be cast once per turn. It is absolutely great with the Scar. You attack with Scar on the first turn and like gain a life because I buddy it, so buddy give, and then just cast this, and then I can search for my Makuro or my Sneak Judgment, or if I already have those, and I, for some reason, choose not to do that, not to equip them, because I wanted to search that badly, I can search now Kugel. Kugel's amazing, because now, even if it's not the first turn play, like I just talked about, if Scar ends up being destroyed through any means, or just any size 1 for that matter, if they choose to even counter move something like Schwarz SD, or Gwen, or Kill Knight, then I can literally just search for Kugel afterward, which is absolutely amazing. And it gets your item if you don't have one, so it's really great. 2 copies of This Is My Fight. This is an interesting card. I do mainly like this card because it is a Darkero attribute, so if it is at any time dead in my hand, I can discard it for my abilities and such. Anyway, you may only cast this card if you have a Darkero item equipped and you do not have any monsters. Just simple thing. It's Death Crest's Claws, so it's just easy to cast. Cast cost is pay 2 gauge, and you can choose one of 2 abilities, and you can only cast This Is My Fight once per turn. You can either destroy all monsters on your opponent's field, or you can counter. Call a Dark Hero monster from your hand without paying its call cost. You can impact call Kugel. It returns to the hand with its ability, and then you attack, and then you can cast this, pay 2 more gauge, and then call it without having to discard, and go for another 2, and wipe an entire board again. This card is absolutely crazy with the things you can do with it. I mean, same thing, you can go regular Schwartz, you can call reverse cow, you can call unfortunately, I'm pretty sure you can't like counter transform because you can't call and transform at the same time because it would be pretty funny. You can call Makuro and then go like and then transform at the same time and then just do the ability again because this ability once can only be used once per turn clause is a disability is once per card. So if I had another Makuro, I could do it, but there's no way to do that yet, so can't go that crazy. Anyway, this card's still great. We have 2 copies of Beheat. I'm finished with you. Counter destroyed. As the cast cost to destroy a Dark Hero, and then counter, gauge and draw. So, and I can only cast one of these per turn. It's my main way of getting around Gwen, or just when someone knows any of my Dark Heroes like Scar, I can just go, okay, I'll just cast this, gauge and draw. I now have enough to restand Makuro and go for a Death Crest, so have fun with that. Then for the new counter move, we have 2 copies of That's a Shallow Shot. Pay 1 gauge and counter destroy a monster with 5,000 or less power. So it is a really good card to let you destroy Camille's or other relevant monsters like Justice Drum. I'm about to say Gyramlands is 6,000, so my mistake. I'm so tired. I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Justice Drum. I already said Justice Drum. Brave Drum. No one uses Brave Drum. Tetsuya, like things like that. It's just mainly for things so I can actually stop like abilities that happen in the battle before they can do something like link attacks with dungeon and other junk. For what spells? Set spells. We have first Dark Hero Hideout. It is a set spell that you can only set one of these on the field, and when a Dark Hero monster enters the field, I draw a card. Sorry. This ability can only be used once per turn. This is a really, really good card. It's really great for Dark Heroes. I'm glad I can finally discard this thing if it starts clogging me when I have reverse skull now. So it's great once you get it set. It's bad once you get more copies in your hand. But then reverse skull helps that. So yay. 4 copies of damage control. It's basically white shield on a set spell, but if I do discard that Bounty Robo like itself, I can reduce the damage by 4. It basically essentially turns all your cards in hand to white shield. It lets you do Kill Knight on your opponent's turn and either gain a gauge or take your opponent or send your opponent's gauge to the drop. Just really great card, really even versatile in Dark Heroes. So it's just damage control is the must. You shouldn't be running a white shield because damage control basically just does white shield better all time, every day, all day. I've seen your moves, which is just the basic null. If you have an open center, just no attack. Onto the backup item, we have 2 copies of Sneak Judgment. Sneak Judgment is 4/2 with equip cost to pay 2 gauge. If there's just like Gwen, if there's another Dark Hero on the field, it gets Shadow Dive, and then if a monster leaves my field during my attack phase, I get a draw. So, yay! And the ability on activity once per turn. Then on to the impacts. We have 5 impacts. We have 2 copies of Schwartz Kugel 13 725 size 2 impact monster. Call cost is pay 2 gauge and discard a Dark Hero from my hand. When this card enters the field, destroy all monsters on my opponent's field. And At the end of this card's battle, return this card to the hand. It's a recyclable impact monster, and just like I explained before, this is my fight can call him for essentially free, but you just don't have to discard again, really. But this is still a really great card. If I don't have Death Crest, it really just lets me wipe a board and then go for 2, and or it can just get an extra 2 damage and go for game if I don't have Death Crest. Or the fun thing, when I have 4 gauge, I call this, turn the hand, then I have 2 extra gauge, and since they like block Makuro, they're like, oh, now I have enough to live, then I have 4 gauge and I drop this, then returns to my hand, then I Death Crest. So lots of fun with that. And then lastly, we have 3 copies of Infinity Death Crest. If you don't know what this card does, you may cast this card if your opponent has 4 or less life, and you have no monsters in your field, and a Dark Hero item equipped, pay 2, cast causes pay 2 gauge, and deal your opponent 4 unreducible damage. So it is really great. It's really, really dumb in most people's eyes. I just think this card is really fun. It's really great. It's just so great for Dark Heroes. Just the bread and butter. Dark Heroes. It is a Dark Hero attribute, so if you do get clogged with these, you can't even discard it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this Dark Hero deck profile. Sorry for it being so long. I'm sorry. I just tried to make this as just easy to understand this deck for any newcomers or anyone that wants to get into Dark Heroes. Anyway, thank you for your patience. Hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to TBI Burning Infinity for more Rave fight content, and I'll see you guys on the channel for TBI Burning Infinitey going out.